What's going on? Achad. What's going on? Holography. The whole thing. Not a piece, not a fraction, not a fragment, the entire pie. Not a slice, the entire thing. You know what I'm saying? See the background? I see. Let me move out the way. You know what I'm saying? I. So thank y'all for coming through, watching the videos, watching the lives, the premieres or whatever. Yesterday I did a premiere for the first time where you just a video you already created, and then you can watch it and have like a live chat. You know what I'm saying? Just like airing a TV show. You know what I'm saying? Not like a rerun, but just aired it for the first time. So thank all those for watching it, and you know what I'm saying, coming back to watch it if you missed it. So yeah, definitely if you can see through the virtual background, make sure you get this book here if it's going to let y'all see it, because you know what it look like, so don't act like you don't know what it is. There you go. Holography, the whole writing of the arts. The whole writing of the arts and sciences. There we go. As one educational discipline. And today we're going to pull out of this book. We're going to go into this book, because one of the reasons why I even published this book here is because there were terms and words that have not entered the English lexicon. Because I'm speaking English to you, you're going to speak English back to me so that we can understand each other. You know what I'm saying? I'll learn one of those African Bantu language, one of those. You know what I'm saying? Or be more, taking this concept of today that I'm talking about today and expand it into a whole new language. So I ain't got to speak none of the African languages. We can just come up with our own. I've come up with a couple alphabets when I was a kid. It was creative like that. The same, you know what I'm saying? Came up with our own alphabet. So we can come up with our own phonetical codings and all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? But we're going to pull out of this book and we're going to deal with a concept known as neologism. So a neologism is basically, as the word is telling you, is a new word, a new term, a new phrase, or not necessarily a phrase, because you can have already established words to come up with a new phrase, but definitely a new word, a new verb, a new adjective, a new noun, adverb, advernoun, whatever, you know what I'm saying? A neologism. Now, because you like the King's English so much, and you would, some of y'all, you'd hear too much to it. If you're not speaking it the King's way or the King's speech, you somehow speak in broken English or Ebonics. If my skin color is automatically deemed Ebonics or something like that, right? Or some sort of African American vernacular English. That's an established thing within linguistics of the college style of linguistics. But as a neologism, you get to, just in terms of neurology or neuroscience, you know what I'm saying? Just in that, small bracket of information, not dealing with a higher knowledge or philosophy on that, just dealing with neurology, you create new neural pathways. Are you interested in new neural pathways? Is that your game? You like to mold your brain into new shapes and new forms and formats? Well, neologism is one of those ways you do that, because now you're creating a brand new word. You know what I'm saying? You're creating a brand new word for your mind to now assimilate, instead of it taking in words that are already pre-established. So you're taking the liberty to create a new term, a new thing. You know what I'm saying? Because I had a few people try to, challenge me on this concept by saying, well, that's a made up word. Well, everything is made up, sweetheart. All the things you believe in, all the paradigms you assess your reality with is all made up. The name you go by is made up. Even if it's through generations of time, someone made that up before. It had to start somewhere. Even every word in your language, even if it's French, Japanese, Spanish, Italian, Lithuanian, Swahili, you know what I'm saying? Egyptian. Someone made that up. So why can't I step into my authority, my throne, and be like, well, I'm gonna make up my own words. And then once I compile them up enough, it'll be a whole new language. It's all made up. You know my philosophy on that. So it's all made up. Stay woke. Everything is made up. So I came through to come with this new word. And the new word is right here in the title of the live right here is semiosome. Semiosome. 4 syllables. Now, in this instance, I'm creating a word based on pre-established prefixes, roots, and suffixes. You know what I'm saying? Prefix is a root part of the word that starts at the beginning of the word. Suffix is at the end of the word. You know what I'm saying? So semiosome is a word is combined is a combination of a pre-established root, semio, and then some being the suffix or the end part of that word. So even you know what I'm saying, because you could just put some letters together and attribute a meaning to it, but I'm going with some pre-established things. You know what I'm saying? Pre-established suffixes, prefixes, and roots. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't say semio in that word is necessarily a prefix, but it's definitely a root in that word. So if you know what the root semio means and you know what some means as a suffix, you put it together. That's the neologism. Because if you go back through the history of the mainstream science you deal with, or you want to go by or sit here and say it's empirical, whatever, you got people making up their own words. You got scientists coming up with their own, like for example, bioblast. You don't even know what the fuck a bioblast is. I know what it is because I researched it. A bioblast was the word they were using in this science thing before they came up with the word mitochondria. So even mitochondria is a made up. They made that up. They took some Greek words or Greek root word and a Greek suffix and put it together. And now that's all you know that entity within your body to be, a mitochondria or a mitochondrion, because mitochondria is plural. So why can't I come through to you and say, nigga, I came up with a new word, semiosome? Because I'm going to make brand new neural pathways in my brain. You know what I'm saying? To be up on neuroscience and neurology. What's it called? Neuroplasticity. There you go. That's the word, neuroplasticity, where your brain changes shape and creates new neural, like your neurons travel within your brain, because your brain is supposed to be just a conglomerate of neurons, right? Nerve cells. So now the nerve cells are moving and traveling to different parts of the brain mass, because I'm thinking in new ways and doing new imaginative thinkings and neologisms. But let's dig into this word, because this word is something that has not been established before my book came out. So again, the reason why this book has been written is that now I have published and established new words. I have coined new terms that have not been coined yet. So if ever after you know about this word, you see it anywhere in anyone else's book, or they're speaking about it in a podcast or a YouTube video or wherever you hear that, you have to refer back to my book, because I'm the first one to put that word into the collective consciousness, or at least be the conduit through which it comes through. Because I'm not even going to sit here and just claim just all by myself to say, oh, I created the word. I may have just been the channel through which this word that already pre-exists comes through. Just different perspectives on, creating things, and not just words or anything you create. Even the songs, like for example, you're a musician, you're a little mixtape rapper, or you trying to get your song off the ground. How you know you're creating that song? How you know you're not just a medium through which this pre-created sound collection of sounds is just using you to come through? You're just the medium, the channel. You know what I'm saying? Humble yourself out here. But anyway, let's dig into this word semiosome. So, like I said, I'm pulling out the book. We're pulling out the text. So the first time you see this word is on page 213 of my book, right? So we talked about because actually semiosome is not the only word I come up with within this book. But so I'm going to read this to you. Read time. You know what I'm saying? Get your juicy box. Now on to the third created word, because there's two created words I came up with, as you read this book. So on to my third created word, semiosome. The root semio is derived from semiotics, the study of signs and symbols, right? But most importantly, the study of meaning itself, and the suffix some, which is some, is grafted on to mean a body of meaning or a body of meanings. So that's going to take us here, what I got on the screen here. Let me just enlarge it. Let me just enlarge it like that. So, I always do these type of videos by starting off with the words and the terms and the etymology of them, because that's part of root work and kernel work. But, it's part of kernel work, but root work by extension, right? I'm always doing kernel workings and root workings by dealing with etymology. You know what I'm saying? I already have a video on this on my channel. Check it out. But and how did I say it? So etymology is a root worker's language, and by extension, a kernel worker's language. When you get to the etymology, the original intent of the word being created, not the meanings it started to take on over the history of time. You know what I'm saying? What was originally intended by the creation of that term or that word, right? So now we deal with semiotics. And I'm heavy on semiotics, right? So semiotics is, basically going back to the Greek semeion, or semia, however you want to pronounce that, a mark, sign, or token from sema, which means mark or sign. So semiotics is literally the study or the dealings of signs and symbols and meanings, right? That's semiotics. Then you can go into biosemiotics, where we get into a branch of semiotics dealing with the signs that you find within the actual living organism, especially on the microbiological level of that organism, where you see these meaningful signs or meaningful symbols within the flesh of that creature. Or you can also deal with hieroglyphics, going back to ancient Kemet, or any type of hieroglyphs that you find in some sort of ancient civilization, studying, the ancient tombs or temples around the world, and you deal with their uh, ideograms. You know what I'm saying? Or these so-called metunetras, or these letters that have some sort of arcane, esoteric, or occult meaning to them. Even words like psychosemiotics, like mental meanings. Because now when you say psychosemiotics, you're talking about archetypes in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like the archetypes within the psyche, certain symbols in your dreams, the meanings that you see every time, like your mental assessment of them, your emotional reaction to them, how you interpret and process the signs and symbols, all in your experience in your existence of life. So if you're looking at a screen right now, it's in the shape of a rectangle or a square or something. That rectangle is full of meaning. It has meanings attached to it, whether you know those original meanings or you do not. So I'm looking into this camera, this webcam, and it's in the form of a circle. That circle has a multitude of meanings attached to it. It means something. It's a container of meaning. It's a symbol. So semiotics is the study of that. Now let's get into the some part of my new word, semiosome. So now we're going to go into some, which means body. So wherever you see a word and it ends in some, it means some, body, as in somatic. Like if you have a psychosomatic disease, right? That means it's a mind body malady or disorder or syndrome or something like that. Or when you say chromosome, for those of you that are interested in genetics, chromosome, right? Chromosome, chromo meaning color, and some meaning body. So these are color bodies within the microscopic level of your flesh. You have these color bodies. Someone came up with this term. They took chromo, color, and some, body, color bodies. So it's these color bodies that they use to determine your genetics. You know what I'm saying? And you wild as hell for giving over your genetic material over to these corporations that be saying they can find your ancestors and stuff. You wild as hell for that. You'll never catch me doing it. But you know, if you already did it, they already got your DNA. So when they come up with these movies where you know they clone Tyrone, they cloned you too. But anyway, it's nothing you gotta deal with right now. Just focus on what I'm trying to say here. I ain't trying to scare you or nothing. Lysosome, right? Lyso meaning breakdown or to break, you know, like break through, right? Lysosome. So it's a breaker body. A lysosome is one of the organelles within your cells that breaks down certain, materials that enter the cell, right? Just like your own digestive system, you can't just sit here and eat a banana and, said as the form of that banana going through your body. No, it has to be digested. It has to be turned into glucose and ATP or whatever the hell's turned into in order for your cells to absorb it and gain the energy out of it. So some means body. So we go to the etymology of body, is basically the same until you get to this Proto-Indo-European root, meaning to be awake or observe. So what does observation and awakeness have to deal with the body? So how do you take a meaning that like a word that means awakening or awokeness, you know what I'm saying, or observation, and then it becomes the root for our modern word body? How does it become that? Well, obviously, when I say body, I'm talking, I say my body. You'll basically interpret that to mean I'm talking about my physical flesh, my skin, muscles, skeletal structure, my eyeballs, my lips, my nose, my hair. It's all my arms, legs. You know what I'm saying? The trunk of my body or the abdomen, my chest. You would think when I say body, you think I'm talking about that for the most part. But if you look a little more depthically, you'll understand that it has a more metaphysical, abstract meaning to the word body. And what I would like you to focus on here is dealing with this meaning of coherent group. So when I say a body of people, right, or a body of guards, a body of elected officials, so now it takes on a meaning more abstractly than just your flesh. You know what I'm saying? It's beyond your corpse, right? Because even the word corpse or corpus means body, right? It's the Latin for that. Some is the Greek meaning for body, and corpus or corpse or corporation, like these are all meanings that come from the meaning of body. You know what I'm saying? Or habeas corpus, or you know what I'm saying? That type of thing. Or it can also mean an organization, a company. Like I just said, corporation is basically a company of people, right? That are officially doing some sort of business, a company or other or authoritative group, right? But this is the meaning I really want you to focus on. I want you to focus on this more, this right here. A unified keyword, a unified collection of details, knowledge, and information. Body, a body of evidence, a body of work. You know what I'm saying? A body of books or a body of words. You know what I'm saying? Because now we're going to tie this right back into my new word, semiosome, which means what? Body of meaning or a meaning body. So what if, like I say in my book here, what if you stop limiting your identity to your physical body and start getting your identity from your meaning body. Which one are you more of? A body of flesh or a body of meaning? Which one are you more of? Because even your physical body is a semiosome. It's a body of meaning. It is a container of meanings. Just like everything else in existence is a semiosome. My head by itself is its own semiosome, attached to a greater semiosome, which is my physical body. Then you can attach me to a greater semiosome, which could be what? Black men. A greater semiosome, if you want to add in black women, black people. A greater semiosome would be human race. I'm a part of the semiosome, a body of meaning, which is the human race, right? Then you can it becomes a smaller unit of a greater semiosome, which can be mammals, because humans are mammals, right? They're classified in the living kingdom as animals, just like whales, ants, gorillas, you know what I'm saying, birds or whatever. But then you could take that body of meaning and make it a unit within a greater semiosome, body of meaning, right? Organism. Because then that puts me in the same category as what? Fungus, single cell organisms, plants. Then you can take the organism as a semiosis or a semiosome or body of meaning and make it a unit or just an individualized part of a greater semiosome, which would be object or thing. Do you see what I'm trying to do with this concept? I'm showing you how everything that you can sit here and think about, talk about, observe, process, compute, or calculate is a body of meaning. Therefore, it is a semiosome. Even abstract things such as numbers, 1, 2, 3, these are all semiosomes. 2, 1, 3, 86, 1,000,000. These are each a semiosome, because they contain a meaning. They are a body, a unified body, or a unified collection of details, knowledge, and information. So, me as Al Achad or Alex Will 64 or Alexander Williams, I am a semiosome because I am a container, a unified collection of details, knowledge, and meaning, and information or data. That's what makes me a semiosome. But even something like the number 2 or the number one is a semiosome. It is a collection of meanings. It is a container of details, knowledge, information, data, or whatever. So now there is really no difference between me and the number one. There's really no difference between me and this cup of coffee. Let me take some. No, no, no. There's really no difference between me and this phone. There's really no difference between me and this laptop that I'm or this MacBook that I'm using to broadcast this live stream. So I am a semiosome built of semiosomes. So even the cells in my body are each semiosomes. The organelles in those cells are each semiosomes. If you want to deal with particle physics, the molecules and atoms that make up all the cells and organelles and all the stuff in my physical body are each semiosomes. They are bodies of meaning, especially when you know about the first universal law of mentalism. Everything is mind, the mind is mental, or the universe is mental, right? All is mind, universe is mental, or also called panpsychism. That's what they're trying to call it now. So when you take that law of existence and put it above everything else, now you understand that all that can be anything is a body of meaning. So just with that understanding, I identify more as a semiosome rather than a physical body. So everything that you can identify as being a part of me or is me or whatever, that's my entire semiosome, my body of meaning. You are a body of meaning. You are a semiosome. Because if you're going to say one is all is one, or you want to say everything is one thing, if you want to go by that, because that's something you're going to hear throughout your new age conscious community, you're going to hear that term. We're all one. Okay, well, let's deal with how that is true. Let's factualize. Let's see if we can deal with the logic of that. Because once you discover the logic of that, any other type of logic it pales in comparison. It doesn't live up to the accuracy of one is all is one. So this is me saying, well, if this is a meaning now, you know what I'm saying, this is something that I'm seeing, can I encapsulate it within a word that I can create myself? This is how the word semiosome came to be. Or at least when I came up with or not saying I came up with it, because again, I could just be the channel for it. Because ultimately, it wouldn't be just my meaning; it attributes to everything. You're a semiosome, so I can't sit here and say, "Oh, this is my word," or it just belongs to me. No, it's all anything that is a body, anything that has meaning. Right? Tell me something that does not mean anything. Because then my whole concept here shatters and falls and collapses. If you know what I'm saying, if you can find something that doesn't mean anything. And it's quite the challenge because again, you're going to sit here and come up with something that has a word attribute to it, right? Every letter in that word that you're using is a body of meaning. The thoughts that you're thinking right now are each their own body of meaning. Your dreams are each a body of everything in your dream is each a body of meaning, a semiosome. Tell me something that doesn't mean anything. Because let me repeat to you as I've repeated to you in other videos. Especially the physical world, is a symbol. It's a composite semiosome, a composite symbol, a body of meaning. And then you can sit here and fractionize it and divide it and individualize, like take pieces and be like, oh, well, this within the world means this as apart from that. So this mouse of this computer has a different meaning or is a different body of meaning than this phone. But because they're both physical objects, they are part of the same body of meaning. So it's like cells coming together to create a greater cell. It's like the Mandelbrot or the fractals. This ties right into that whole fractal thing. Like let me pull up Mandelbrot. Hold on. Let me just put a visual up. You just heard me speaking and you're seeing words, and some of y'all like, I need to see the visual because it's too technical, too wordy. Mandelbrot. So you've seen this before, haven't you? You've seen this before. This Mandelbrot pattern, this fractal pattern. So they always show you like a visual, like a video, where the deeper you go into the fractal, you'll start to see the same shape as you go deeper and depthically and more depthically into it. It's the same shape, right? Fractal. So this conceptualization of a fractal fits right into my whole thing about the semiosome. So even existence itself, when we get to ontology, right? Ontos, or the existence itself, is a semiosome made up of an infinite amount of semiosomes. Existence itself. This cup exists. My flesh exists. My shirt exists. You know what I'm saying? My glasses. this background. It's an existent thing. The ideas, the abstracts, the principles, which are higher up the ontological scale than any physical object. Because physical objects are bound by what? Space-time. So it's only a physical object in the sense that it has a position on Earth, right? And then it was in this position at this time. So this is where we deal with the 3D, 4D thing, right? It's bound by those physical laws. But when you remove those physical laws, it ceases to be a physical object as a physical thing. And now it's really just an abstract. So you can really look at physical things as just being containers or symbols of abstractual meanings and principles. So this cup is governed by the fact that it can contain something. So if you took away the concept of container or containing, the cup would not exist, because it needs to form itself around that principle or that abstract in order for it to function as it is in the physical realm. So again, the physical world is just a realm of effects. It's a realm of shadows. It's projections. And you know how I've always said this, nothing in the physical is the cause of any other physical thing. So again, me punching you in your lip is not my physical. When like, for example, you start to bleed from your lip, that was not really my fist wasn't the cause of that, of you bleeding from your lip. My fist was a tool being used to show that, your lip is starting to bleed. If I explain that clearly for you, because there are forces that govern the event of me punching you in your lip. You know what I'm saying? Those forces have to compel the event of you getting punched in your lip, which then brings us into the understanding of cause and effect, or dealing with forces where, you don't understand why something is happening. Well, why haven't you assessed the forces or the principles or the abstracts that are behind the scenes making this physical event what it is? Because now, if you understand these periodic table of forces, not a periodic table of elements of forces, then you know why anything would ever happen. You'd never be confused about the events in which you observe, or things that happen to you, or the things that you do to other, you do whatever to anybody or to anything. So my whole thing of creating the semiosome is to give you a better clarity of your existence as you observe it. You are a body of meaning, not merely a body of flesh and blood. And one of the hold on, let me go back. Hold on. And it's really this book here that I kind of it helped me sharpen my understanding of the semiosome. Because in the first part is breathing flesh, the conceptions of the body, is right here in the title of his book, this Rune Niord's guy's book. So where he talks about the body in the ancient Egyptian coffin text, he prefaces his book by talking about the metaphysics in the figurative language that these ancient people were using in their hieroglyphs. So they knew about metaphor and figures of speech well before, we're dealing with it here in the Western world of today's civilization. So to say it in another way, these ancient peoples knew how to speak metaphorically and symbolically. So he explains in the first part of his book that body isn't necessarily just talking about your physical flesh. It's talking about a whole, a collection, a unified thing of different pieces. So just like we go to this definition or this etymology of the word body, a unified collection of details, knowledge, and information. That's an abstractual meaning that your physical body follows the pattern of. because your physical body is made up of all these different parts. You got bones, you got blood, you got muscle tissue, tendons, you know what I'm saying? Nerves, neurons, hormonal proteins, all types of different type of enzymes and proteins or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Free radicals, you know what I'm saying? Sitting here making commercials about free radicals and stopping the free radicals and shit like that. So your body conforms to this abstractual format of being a collection of different details, different knowledge, different information, a unified collection, a whole, hence the term holography. It all ties in together. You got to look at the threads, not the string theories, the threads. So let's do an exercise. So when I say, when I take my glasses off and I show it to you, what abstracts have to precede the physical creation of the glasses for the glasses to be what it is and functions as it is? What has to be there on the abstract principle level? Think about it. For example, let's deal with the abstract of clarity, because when I take my glasses off, everything is blurry. So I'm nearsighted. I can't really see far distances because everything starts to blur in my physical line of vision. But when I put my glasses on, everything, it comes into focus. It's 2020 for me now. So the idea or the abstract or the principle of clarity has to exist before you create glasses, because now the glasses are an embodiment, there go the word body, an embodiment of the meaning clarity. I don't put the mouse on my eyes and be like, oh, now I can see better. I don't put the book on my eyes and say, oh, I can see better. I don't put the phone up to my face and be like, oh, I can see better. No, I use the glasses because the glasses have the embodiment of clarity for me. So now I have codified these glasses to mean clarity in the more subliminal parts, or what you would call the more subconscious parts of the body, or the mind, for example. So the so-called subconscious of your mind focuses on these principles and these abstract meanings rather than the actual physical objects and phenomena and entities and people that you observe with your five senses. So the goal here is to get you to be both, to be able to differentiate with your senses and then unify with, the higher parts of your mind. So you can read generalities and you can read details at the same time, not focusing on one or the other, overtly focusing on one or the other. You know what I'm saying? Semiosome. The occult is a semiosome. Chakras is a semiosome. It is a body of meaning about the so-called unseen centers along this, along the spine of your body, going up to the head. So before we get into energy centers, chakra is a body of meaning. Because I also have a phrase that I put here, is even in the back of my book, where I say the meaning of life is the expression of every possible meaning. You could also say the meaning of existence is the expression of every possible meaning. This book is a body of work. It's a semiosome, full of semiosomes. So each word, each letter in this book is its own semiosome, a body of meaning, A through Z. 1 to infinity, all semiosomatic. So this is how you can unify things that seem completely different. Physicality, metaphysics. You think they're so separate. No, they're both semiosomes. So that means they are never really separate. You are just perceiving them as fragmented and separate. So now we'll come into, let me bring you into the reason why this is even in my book here, is also dealing with this whole, scientific phrase, theory of everything, or grand unifying theorem. Because you have a lot of inaccurate theories and theorems being placed in front of in people's faces, like the string theory, or the, what I'm saying, them trying to deal with particle physics all day, or even quantum physics, which from where I'm, from my vantage point, are inaccurate in describing existence. They are paradigms, just like your Christianity, just like your Buddhism, just like your Hinduism, just like your African traditional religion, that codify existence in a certain structure. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying that it is not the accurate depiction of existence itself. It's not really describing existence. It's describing existence according to all peoples in that geographical area of the world. It's not universal. It's cultural, or it's geographical, or it's ethnic. So whenever you try to, like, uphold some paradigm, the caveats or the risk of that is that you're going to be limited by certain parameters of that paradigm. So I'm venturing into a paradigm that has really no parameters, because everything is a semiosome. It's a body of knowledge. It's a body of meaning. Name me something that doesn't mean anything. That's my challenge to you. You want to challenge me on what I'm saying? I'm going to challenge you on what you're trying to say. Name me something that means nothing, that has no meaning. Because we can even get into the philosophy of nihilism, like, what I was saying in a previous video about nihilism, where they believe, that, or they have a take that all this means nothing. And I'm like, dog, if you really sit here and read your existence, you'll come up with so many different meanings. Even you saying that you believe or you go by nihilism, it means something. Because these are the people that fail to decode the things that happen right there in their face. They fail to decode the phenomena and the the movements of space. They fail to decode it. For example, if I sit here and only identify as a individualized black man with glasses, like, I have limited my identity to that. So I've taken on a human ego paradigm. But the reverse is true. I can take off this paradigm at any time if I so choose. Because when you identify as human, that paradigm comes with its parameters. And a lot of the times you are not enslaved to any, entity or some people out here, or these secret engine, saying, these colon, whatever. You're more enslaved to the paradigms you chose to adopt. That's what's enslaving you. That's why you're not free, so called. You're not liberated, because you are bound by the parameters of your paradigm. Now, one of the perks of being, into chaos magic, for example, is the fact that you can shift easily and breeze right through and be into any paradigm you want. You don't have to be loyal to any paradigm. If you want to be a Satanist tonight, you're a Christian right now, and then you want to be a Muslim in the morning, you can do that. Because who's stopping you? It's all made up. Who said you have to be, you can be a Christian today if you want to. You can listen to some gospel music, nigga. What's wrong with listening to gospel music? Never would have made it without you. Would have lost it all. It's one of my favorite gospel songs. Not a Christian, but I love the song. I've listened to it as a Christian when I was doing my Christianity thing years ago. You know what I'm saying? I like that song. Because I don't have to sit here and attribute what's being said in the song to the shit that they do in Christianity. I don't have to. I can make that song what I want it to be. Come on now. I thought we was trying to, move towards self-deifications and, freedom of conscience and free thing. I thought that's what we was doing out here. Because if you're going to try, I have to agree to be locked down. That's my power. I have to agree. I can agree, disagree. I can accept and reject. I can opt in and opt out. That's always my power over anything in this existence. That's where a part of my power rests. That I can choose to agree with you. I can choose not to. I can accept reason or logic, or I can deny reason or logic. That's my preference. That's what I can choose to do. Right? Because you don't even have to agree with the creation of a new word like semiosome. You can deny that. Just like I said in the beginning, like you can sit here and be like other people and be like, well, that's not a word. How isn't it a word? What criteria must it be for it to be a word? The Oxford Dictionary, they have to approve of it being a new word. So I got to go through their authority for me to establish this new word. I have to agree with you to be then limited by that. Do you see what I'm trying to get to? I have to agree to that. If I disagree, you are now powerless in your ability to get me to agree with you on that. So that's my new word for you, semiosome, right here in this book of holography. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, if you come up with a new word, I would love for you to publish it for the public. Introduce it to the public, public bodies. And we're talking about bodies. So I'm like I said, I'm really just a conduit for these new terms and these new understandings that come through. These could have been understandings that were well known in previous times or like a previous age. And really, I'm just in this age coming in, I'm just reintroducing it. So perhaps semiosome is a already created meaning or word from ages ago. And I'm just bringing it back into this age. Like you know how they say nothing's new under the sun? So you got all these computers and technology and deep fake. What if this shit was already established on this earth plane 6 ages ago? And now it's just it's returning, to the human civilization. So semiosome, literally meaning body or body of meaning. I would have you, if I was to guide you in this and you want to be guided, I would say identify not as your flesh and blood body, but as your meaning body. What are all your collection of meanings? So now I'm directing it back to you, not something that's out there for you to just study within college. No, we're going to put it right dead and center. What is your body of meaning? What are all your meanings that are collected to mean who you are? Have you identified each facet and asset or aspect, excuse me, of your semiosome? Know thyself. So even when I'm talking about semiosomes, I'm still tying it back to the order of the day, which is for me, know thyself, timid noske, nafi soton. Because I'm pretty sure, however you define your identity, is pretty much going to be is going to be shaped by your capacity to know like what is the capacity of your identity? Is it just within your physical flesh? Is that the extent of your identity? Like what you look like? Like, is that the extent of what you are and who you are? Or, for example, is your identity just limited to the earth plane of existence or the space time continuum? Are you beyond this, or that's just the limitation of who you are? Because I know for me, the semiosome, my body of meaning, stretches way beyond the physical plane of existence. Therefore, my identity is not locked down into any parameters or restrictions of the physical world. What do you mean? As a body of meaning, what is your core meaning? What do you mean? Because again, going back to this, what I have, just in the synopsis of my book here, the meaning of life or existence is the expression of every possible meaning. So, what if you're here to express certain meanings? Do you know which meanings you are here to express? So, like for example, just on the surface, you can call me a black man, right? In my mid 30s, a black man in my mid 30s. What meanings come with being a black man? Because there are people who have codified what a black man is and they react accordingly. For example, I may be a threat to a certain group of people. They have codified me to be a threat or a public enemy number one, and therefore their only strategy against me or strategy, to deal with me is to, lock me up, murder me, put, what I'm saying, subjugate me to certain, laws and policies, disenfranchise me where I can't get certain opportunities. They can because they codified me that way as a black man. They have codified me, and still others can codify me as just a fetish. Like for example, because I'm a black man, they're going to assume that I got a big dick. So they have codified, they have fetishized me now. So all they see is a big dick and what I'm saying, a fulfilling sexual session. You know what I'm saying? That's it. They don't see me as an intellectual or a thinker or a philosopher or any of these higher minded identities. They just see me as a piece of meat. Still others, like we go into the conscious community, they may codify me as a king. I'm just a ancient Egyptian returned. I'm an ancient pharaoh. I'm like the Osiris or Asar. You know what I'm saying? They see me as a black king. They say peace, God, peace, King. That's how they have codified me. But what if I told you that my semiosomatic body or my semiosome, me as a body of meaning, is beyond all those codifications? I am beyond all those codings, all those limited identities. I'm beyond being a piece of meat to certain people. I'm beyond being a threat to them. I am beyond being a resurrected Egyptian king, melanated god, or something like that. Beyond all of those conditions. And that comes with know thyself. So again, thank you for watching this. I didn't want this to be too long. Just to, again, let you know that if there are words that are coming through to you, or creations, or neologisms, like I said, these new words, put them out there. Because now you're given an avenue for people to, if they're not going to explore things in your avenue, they're inspired to go in their own direction. You don't have to be locked down in someone else's paradigm. These paradigms come with certain parameters. Be mindful of that. Be careful of that. Even if I'm calling myself a black man, that is a parameter. So that separates me from black woman, white man, it separates me in that sense. But again, we are all part of the one semiosome of humanity, just on a physical level, right? So there's really no difference between me and you. There's only a perceived difference. So now that can sit here and then give weight to the saying that your perception is, some people say your perception is your actual reality. Because that's how you codified it, right? Even consensus reality is a semiosome. It's a body of meaning. There are a set of rules, regulations, and standards that have to go into this consensus reality. So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to continue to do, is be a conduit for these new meanings, for these new words. Did you know I created my own astrology sign? Did you know I created my own astrology sign? Just to let you astrologers know, or your astrology aficionados, let y'all know that I can go outside the parameters of your astrology. You can say I'm wrong. You can say that, oh, I don't know what I'm talking about. Like I said, I don't have to sit here and hold that parameter indefinitely. I can pick it up like it's a shirt and take it the fuck off when I don't want to wear it no more. These are clothes. It's just like the shirts. I can put these shoes on and then take them off because I know that they're shoes. They're not my identity in total. Like, how they say, like, the clothes don't make the man make the clothes. But some of y'all are living a life where you are defined by your clothes, proverbially speaking. So you're defined by your status in society. You're defined by your college degree. You're defined by how much money you got. Those are your definitions, your limitations, your restrictions, your parameters. What if you're just parameter free and don't want to realize that about yourself? Body of meaning. So again, this is Achad coming to you with my book Wholography. Like I said, the links for all these books and courses and stuff is right here in the description section of this video. So again, thank you for watching Wholography channel. Also, if you want to go a little bit more depthically into this stuff, there's also the Wholography Patreon. That link is in the description too. So again, my challenge to you: name me something that doesn't have any meaning. I dare you. Double, triple, quadruple dare you. Greetings, folks. This is Achad. Had to cut into the video to let you know that this book here, Wholography, now it's on Kindle. Amazon Kindle. So if you have the Kindle service, you can definitely check it out. There's even a longer sample for you to read where, you know, you can really get into if you really want to know about my book or not. For me, it's more about getting the book out there rather than trying to make, you know, a sale exclusively. So, you know, but if you are one of those scholars where you want the book, you want to do some highlighting and some annotating, and you really want to tear it apart, which that's what I really want you to do, then definitely go to my website, holographer.com/the-book. You know what I'm saying? And do it that way. Either way is cool with me. And now back to the video.